morning, Heartland Summit. And Angie, Ross, thanks for teeing us up. Congratulations on a blockbuster summit. Thank you to Heartland Forward and the Walton family for creating this incredible place for all us to meet and get together. I'm Mike Allen, co-founder of Axios. Axios Northwest Arkansas was one of the first of our Axios locals, so we love it here in Bentonville. What's happening here is amazing. So our panel today is definitely the do part of the Think and Do tank, and in fact, we were having so much fun in the green room. We almost went to the bar and skipped our panel, but this is such a great group. So next to me, Mayor Robin Tannehill, Mayor of Oxford, Mississippi, that we just saw. She calls herself an art major who now manages an $84 million budget. So we'll hear how she does that. Candace Matthews-Brackeen is founder and CEO of Lightship Capital, a venture capital company in Cincinnati, where she's built a founders network that she started small and is headed toward 5,000 people at your founders gathering.
Absolutely.
And we have Carmen Tapio, who started in a call center and is now founder and CEO of an Inc. 5000 company, North End Teleservices. So welcome, incredible success stories, and they're anxious, thank you. They're anxious to share the ingredients in their secret sauce, but first, the others of us came from Cincinnati, Omaha, Virginia. Mayor, where did you just fly in from?
Oh, well, I flew in day before yesterday from China, where I've been for 12 days.
And the mayor found a Heartland angle in China.
That's right. I went with the U.S.-China Heartland Association, and soft diplomacy and some face-to-face meetings are really the only thing that's going to change our relationship with probably our most important relationship. So it was great to be there. If I don't make sense, it's because I'm so jet-lagged I can't even tell you my name right now. So forgive me.
Name. We'll just call you Mayor and we'll all be good. All right, Candace, we're going to start with, we're going to have a reading that I think is going to get an amen in this room. I was looking at the Lightship Capital website, and where we invest, companies based anywhere in the United States, excluding New York, Boston, San Francisco, companies based in the Midwest and South are our focus. Firms willing to relocate to Ohio, Tulsa, Oklahoma, or Arkansas are given special consideration. Your big message is the secret sauce can be anywhere.
That's absolutely right. Last night, I believe it was both Olivia and Boris, and I'm referencing Boris Johnson. That is crazy to me. They both kind of referenced that intelligence is distributed equitably, but access isn't. And I believe that in the heartland, in the Midwest, that we are truly able to access anyone. I am from a coffee city. I can have coffee with anyone that I want to, and if I want to grow something, I can get to them. And so they already have plenty of help in those other places. I want to help people that need the help.
Carmen Tapio, you are someone who always helps people who are coming up. And one of your big points is that it's not necessarily the great idea.
It isn't necessarily the great idea. I mean, sometimes it's the idea that hasn't been thought of yet. As I think about, how we help people up, it is often, people in communities don't recognize what they sometimes have within themselves, and you have to be able to show them what the potential is. And so, what we do, what my organization does, is we try to do that at the individual level, but we also try to do that from a community-wide perspective as well. And we were talking a bit about the opportunity that exists and having to think about those opportunities in a different way. So always chasing the big idea isn't necessarily the path that's going to get you to where you want to go. Sometimes it's about completely rethinking what is possible and maybe what hasn't been thought of as of yet.
And I think everyone in this room is driven by purpose. Certainly the people on this stage are. And Carmen, you've made the point that people have come to you and asked you to sell. You've always said no, and why?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
Yeah, people have asked you to sell, but you've said no,
Oh,
and the
okay.
reason is?
So as a fast-growing company, and being on the Inc. 5000 for the last 4 years in a row, starting 8 years ago, going from 0 to where we are today, as an entrepreneur, there are times when you just want out, right? You've had enough. It's hard. Every day seems to be a whole set of challenges, and the offers at some point start coming. Sometimes they're random emails. Is it for real? And sometimes it's a phone call. The reason that I say no to selling the company is I remember that we are a purpose-driven organization. We were founded with a mission of creating jobs and changing lives. And so on those days when I'm sick of it, and just don't want to do it anymore, I remember that we are not just about ourselves, we're about impacting the lives of others and impacting our community. And so that is my big no today. My husband's in the audience. There are days when we go, is today the day? But that's the no. It's because it's bigger than just about ourselves.
Mayor, let's get practical for a second. You said in Oxford, which is growing fast, which
It is.
with a mayor, as a mayor, can be a mixed blessing. Tell me the little piece of growth math that you just told me sitting right here.
Sure. Well, Oxford is a town of 28,000 taxpayers. We have an additional 21,000 students at the University of Mississippi, and on any given Wednesday in Oxford, Mississippi, with workforce and everyone combined, we have about 60,000 people own a home Ole Miss football game weekend. We grow to 250,000. So I was sharing with Mike that, my greatest concern is funding the water and sewer infrastructure to be able to flush the toilet for 300,000 people that we only need 7 days a week and that we have to pay for with 28,000 taxpayers. So it's a balancing act for sure. We like to look at those things as opportunities in Oxford, Mississippi. They are growing pains, but they are certainly challenges and opportunities that we welcome.
A little piece of math definitely stuck in my mind. And Mayor, for the practical part, you said that Oxford is growing fast, and you've been able to appeal to both students and retirees. We saw the Ole Miss water tower here in that great film. And you have some specific learnings about Gen Z that I think our guests would like.
Oh, wonderful. Well, Oxford, recently, 2 weeks ago, the fastest growing college towns in America were ranked, and Oxford is number 2 on that list, behind Bozeman, Montana. We've grown 102% since 2000. We are projected to grow another 24% between now and 2030. Planning for that kind of growth has to be intentional, has to be deliberate, and it's not just the planning, it's the execution. Right now, we are seeing enormous growth in both young Gen Zers who at one point in time were looking for big cities to locate in. Now they are looking for big city amenities, but they're looking for a sense of community that can be found in small college towns. A college town that's influenced socially, economically, and recreationally by a college really appeals to all ages. Retirees and students want the same thing. They want a safe community, they want great dining, they want great shopping, they want great quality of life, and you can find all of those things in a college town that provides opportunity.
I love that. So, Carmen, among the many hats that you wear, you're on the board of the Omaha branch of the Kansas City Fed, and I wonder what you learn in that role and what the sort of the ingredients of that secret sauce might help our guests here in the room.
So I sit on a number of different boards, and each of the boards that I sit on, it's intentional, it's with purpose. And it's usually about the ways in which I can give back. The Federal Reserve Bank of Kansas City Omaha Branch Board is one of the boards that I sit on that I say is for my own continuing education. When I walked onto to that board, I really didn't know what I was walking into. But there is a tremendous group of people, but such information and knowledge that comes from being on that board. And so I think it's important that we serve in ways that feed us as well as what we are able to give in our service. Sitting on that board through the pandemic and seeing the impact that the Federal Reserve made on helping to hold up our economy, the number of transactions that go through the system, the monetary, being a part of the largest monetary system in the world, but understanding that as an entrepreneur and as a business, my input to their understanding of what's really happening in the economy is important, because they see things on a very broad basis, and as a business that's able to provide input to the Federal Reserve and information to the Federal Reserve about what's really happening in our local economy, what's happening within our business, it's tremendous. And so it's a great board. Sounds like it might be stuffy. They're Scotch drinkers. They're a lot of fun. And so I fit right in.
I love the booze theme that we have going here. Candace, you have a special connection to Bentonville and Northwest Arkansas. Do tell.
Yes, I am on the board of Endeavor Northwest Arkansas. I'm sure Janem is here somewhere who leads. But Endeavor is a global network to support entrepreneurs. And you know, there are a lot of ecosystems around the world that don't have a structure, and Endeavor is that structure. And we're just helping companies to grow wherever they are. And I'm so lucky to be on that board.
And you had a little phrase that you used that I love. You talked about your new kids.
Oh, they keep me young, right? When I get to meet new entrepreneurs. So sitting on boards, not only for the companies in my portfolio or doing office hours with different entrepreneurs from around the country, they keep me young and they keep me, you know, with it and smart. And yeah, I really, truly enjoy being a part of someone's journey and being able to go in and help them make a small tweak for growth.
So mentioned at the top, but tell us a little bit about your Black Founders Network, what we can learn from it, and a phrase that I've heard you use is Black Techies.
Absolutely. So long time ago, I actually started this org from something called the Black Founders Network. It was 11 friends that met up at a local bar, and we didn't have our own meetup groups where we felt welcome, and that was just the reality. It grew and grew. We started an accelerator locally with just 3 companies that some friends, family, and fools put some money into. We now activate in 16 different cities. Last year, we acquired a small tech conference. At that time, it was about 500 people that would go down to Miami, Florida, Black Techies, to something called Black Tech Week. And we bought that from a wonderful family, Felicia Hatcher and Derek Pearson. Felicia now runs Black Ambition Prize for Pharrell Williams, for everybody who got to meet him last year. But Black Tech Week is a convening, a homecoming, a family reunion of Black techies from around the world. And this year we had 3,000 people. We've had Serena Williams as a headliner. We had Issa Rae this year. And it's a way to get business done. It's a way to do biz dev. It's a way to raise money. And it's a way for people to see Cincinnati.
Now, Robin, you have been able to grow fast. You get global recognition. You said yourself you're one of the smaller communities that's represented here. What can we learn from the way that people are flocking to Oxford, Mississippi to flush your toilets?
Well, we just make sure they can when they get there, Mike. You know, I believe that there are college towns across the United States that are really cool places. College towns have a certain atmosphere, a certain quality of life. And like I said, it is a small town with big city diversity, big city amenities. And that's what people are flocking to. I think especially post-pandemic, people are looking for community. not just a community. They're looking for a community. They are looking at places that they can connect. And Oxford is a place that brings everybody to the table. We really focus on bringing every segment of our community to the table. I focus on that as I appoint board members and commissions across the community. I don't want to appoint all people that look alike, that think alike, that have the same background, that have the same economic level. I want to bring people in from every segment of our community, and that's how you make people feel a part. When they have a seat at the table, they feel a part. They feel that community, and those are the folks that are flocking to Oxford, Mississippi, and to other college towns across the nation.
And you mentioned the diversity of Oxford. How have you managed to grow inclusively, and what advice would you have about sewing that in to your growth plan from the beginning?
Sure, it has to be deliberate. Those things, a lot of things that we hope happen hope is hope. You've got to put plans in place that attract diverse communities. You've got to then put in place a way for people to plug in. Just getting them to the community is just half the battle. The second part of that is figuring out ways for them to connect, for them to feel like this is my hometown. And I think small towns are uniquely, able to do that.
Carmen, we saw some great shots of the revitalization of Omaha.
Yes.
And I spent 10 years in Richmond, Virginia. I worked for the Richmond Times-Dispatch. And Richmond is one of those many cities that was built backwards. It was built with its back to the river. Mm-hmm. And when we were there, people had the incredible insight that maybe our front should be to the river. It sounds like Omaha is kind of doing the same thing.
Yes. So we are a river-founded town, East Omaha, downtown, and Omaha is getting back to its roots as being a river-centric community. And so there's a lot of investment. I was so proud to see the video and the flyovers of what's happening there. All of the green spaces, all of the investment that's being made right on the river where our city was originally founded. But I think what's most important about that, it's not just about redeveloping the community so that only certain people can visit, live, or access, work, or play there. It's being done in such a way that it's accessible to everyone, and that is really one of the things that I was most concerned of when we undertook the revitalization and the redevelopment areas or efforts by the river, is that people would be left out. It is being done in a way that anyone from any socioeconomic perspective can participate in what's happening on the riverfront. And I'll say this as well, it's not just about what's happening directly on the riverfront, it's also what's happening in our North Omaha community and our South Omaha community, which have historically been our communities, our underserved areas. So there's connectivity happening back to the origins of our founding to other parts of our community as well, and I think that that's really important.
Very cool. Candace, on all of our name tags, it says "meet in the middle" is the byword here, and of course that's literal, but also psychic, like bringing people together, connecting people, collaborating. What advice, what tips do you have? What have you learned in your amazing career about bringing people in, collaborating?
Oh, wow. I believe the greatest things happen with food. We talked about this a little bit in the back. I am a foodie. I love food.
But when you're vegan.
I am vegan, and that's okay too. I am vegan. That was an experiment that went way too long right now, but I run because I like food too much. But I believe that great things happen over a meal. So we run a boot camp that's been around for 12 years, actually. It started with another woman, and during the boot camp, we eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner together. And at those meals, we invite venture capitalists to meet the entrepreneurs. We bring in ecosystem support to meet the entrepreneurs, and we get to meet folks on a human level. And I believe that when you convene people in that way, you lower the barrier, you get to know each other. There was a wonderful woman here last night that was speaking about welcome.us, right? And when you get to welcome someone into your home or take them on a grocery store run or tutor their child, you get to learn so much more. So that's what we do in all of our work. We make certain that we make everything feel like home. and we bring in all sorts of folks. So yes, I do run Black Tech Week, but a lot of our work at Lightship looks like America. That is our goal. Our goal is to make certain that the boards of our companies look like America. That when people come to Black Tech Week, it still looks like America. It might be like HBCU homecoming kind of America, but like it still looks like America. So we find it to be important to convene, bring people together, feed them to lower that barrier to do great things.
And I was struck by what you said about lowering barriers, right? Like, what very practical tips or advice do you have for people about lowering people's defenses, like getting to the real person?
Well, I think you have to enter every conversation with thinking about having grace. You have to have grace. And if you don't have grace, then immediately people can get defensive. We put on our website that we support Black, Indigenous, people of color, folks from the LGBTQ community, etc. And we, not too long ago, had this beautiful woman named Jessica join us for our boot camp. Jessica is a transgender woman. She joined us for that boot camp, and we messed up a few times. And she gave us grace. And we learned from each other. We learned from each other. And so I think you have to, in order to kind of make anything to grow, you have to learn how to continuously learn, give each other grace, and that's how we're all going to be able to grow together as a community.
That's a great takeaway about giving grace. At Axios, we say assume positive intent.
Absolutely.
And very easy to say, very difficult to do in the moment, but it is game-changing. Robin, something you do is a Girls Empowerment Network.
That's right. It is my very favorite part of my job. I started 6 years ago a program called Girl Empowerment. It's for 5th grade girls, and it's not a leadership program that is trying to prepare them to run for student council. It is a leadership program that tries to stress that the most important leadership skill is kindness, that everybody you meet has on an invisible backpack. And so what's in your backpack? What's in their backpack? Maybe consider that if they look angry walking down the hallway, just maybe that they're hungry. And so we try to look at people through a different set of goggles. And my goal in that class is to prepare them to see somebody being bullied and to be able to walk up and say, that's not cool. Or to see someone that never has anyone to sit with at lunch and have the self-confidence to invite them to sit at their table. And I learn as much from these 5th graders as they learn from me.
Those are very real pieces of advice. And like, one of the secrets you can tell your kids is people want to be led, right?
Absolutely.
Like,
they do. People want to be led, but I tell the girls, there are a lot of people that think they're leaders, but if they turn around and look behind them, there ain't nobody there. Right? I mean, a leader is someone who's kind, someone who offers grace, someone who is a consensus builder, someone who respects differing opinions. And those are the things that we talk about. I wish somebody had talked to me about that in the 5th grade. And a lot of the issues that we're dealing with amongst these girls, we as women still deal with at age 53 in the workforce today. And so I think it's important to try to empower these girls to, have a sense of self-confidence and to, find their voice and then to use it.
and what's a simple thing you tell them to ask somebody who maybe looks lonely or hungry or...
Well, I tell them that they have to smile at someone every single day, and then I get them to report to me. Look at somebody that you can tell needs a smile, and smile at them. They may not smile back the first few times. They may, by the third time, think you're a little weird, but keep doing it. There are people that a smile can change somebody's day. It can change their whole outlook. So that's what I encourage them to do.
I love that. Carmen, you're going to have the last word. We're getting the hook here, but on your way out of here, you're headed off on a road trip.
Yes.
Tell us about your road trip.
That's right. So I've never been to Arkansas, anywhere in Arkansas, and I've spent the last 3 weeks on the road traveling. So I'm kind of sick of airplanes. That's first. My husband's with me. He's been by my side this entire time. I came from a board meeting in Florida, and we decided to cancel our flight home from Arkansas, and we are going to road trip it back to Omaha so that we can take another look at the Heartland. He fishes here, and I want to see what he sees when he goes fishing because I'll be going with them next time. So we're looking forward to that.
Drop the mic. Thank you, Heartland Summit. Thank you to a
Thank
great
you.
panel.